In this video, we are going to discuss about distributed database system design issues. First, we are going to discuss about distributed database design. How the database and the application that run against it should be placed across different sites. There are two basic alternates for placing the data. One is partitioned and another one is replicated. In fully replicated, the entire database is stored at each site. In partially replicated, where each partition of the database are stored at more than one site but not at all sites. So here we are going to discuss two fundamental design issues. One is a fragmentation and another one is a distribution. So separation of database into partition is known as fragmentation, and how these fragments are distributed over at different sites. So the next design issue we are going to discuss about distributed directory management. Directory or a data directory, it contains information about data items in database. So that is the description and location of the data. So this directory may be global or local. Global in the sense it is placed in one system. It contains all the information about the distributed database system. Or the data directory may be local to each site. Similarly, it can be centralized or distributed over several sites. So the next design issue is distributed query processing. It deals with designing algorithms that analyze queries and convert it into a series of data manipulation operations. Here the problem in query processing is how to decide a particular strategy for executing a query over the network. Some factors we have to consider during query processing are distribution of data, communication cost, then parallelism. So the next design issue is distributed concurrency control. So concurrency control involves synchronization of access to the distributed database so that integrity of database is maintained. Concurrency control problem in distributed context is different in centralized framework. Here we have to worry about the consistency of multiple copies of database. So here we need to maintain some condition to ensure the integrity and consistency of data that is stored as a multiple copies. So the next design issue we have to consider is distributed deadlock management. So deadlock problem is similar to what we are going to encounter in the operating system. So deadlock arises when I am going to access a set of resources. To avoid deadlock, we have to ensure some synchronization mechanism that may be implemented based on locking system. So the next design issue is reliability of distributed DBMS. So the advantage of distributed system is to improve reliability and availability. We have to ensure the consistency of the database by detecting failures and recovering from the failure. So failure may occur at various sites. Some site may be inaccessible. At the time the database at the operational sites remain consistent and up to date. So these things we have to consider for the reliability of the data as well as for the availability of the data. One of the advantage of distributed database system is reliability and availability. The data may be available at all the time irrespective of the failure of the system at particular site. So next one is replication. As I already said, it may be partial or fully replicated. So it can be implemented using some protocol to ensure the consistency of the replicas. Here we are going to discuss two protocols. One is Eager protocol enforce updates to be applied to all the replicas before a transaction is completed. Whereas in lazy protocol, transaction updates one copy which updates are propagated to others after transaction is complete. So next we are going to discuss about the various problems that have relationship with this design. So design of distributed database affects many areas. One is the directory management. Definition of fragment and their placement determine the content of directory and the strategies of directory. One thing. So fragment structures and placement of data used by query processor for query evaluation and strategy. Next one is directory placement and content influence processing of query, and the replication of fragment also affect the concurrency control. So here we are going to consider concurrency control as well as the transaction management to ensure the reliability of the database. So next we are going to discuss about the additional design issues what we are going to face here. So additional design issues leads to the development of multi-database system and also data integration system. How multiple database system is designed and how data integration among the multi-database system is maintained. So next we are going to discuss about the distributed DBMS architecture. It defines the structure. So while defining the structure, we have to consider the component, function of each component, interrelationship and interaction among various components, and also it deals with identification of various modules, that is interfaces and its interrelations. Next thing we are going to discuss about distributed transaction. This deals with the data. Users see data as one logical pool. So for accessing the distributed transaction data, here we have two models. One is client server and another one is peer-to-peer distribution. So the major issues we have to consider while designing the DBMS architecture is about the availability as well as the reliability of the data with the advanced component used in my design, which improves the performance of my system. So these are the design issues which is going to affect or we have to consider at the time of distributed database design. Thank you for watching.